I knew he was a doctor. I knew that he was local, and he had a general practice in a small town nearby in the city of Clayton.
Undercover Detective Scott Harn has an appointment with Dr. Gary Parkinson, but it isn't for a checkup.
Basically, he needs to go away. He's trying to destroy my life.
Detective Harn of the Concord, California Police Department is posing as a hitman after his department learns from an acquaintance of Parkinson that he is looking for a hired gun.
Basically, what do you want to know? You want to know why?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, well, this guy's been screwing me really, really bad, and he's trying to get me arrested for a bunch of shit I didn't do. And he's got a lot of money out of me.
What's this guy's relationship to you?
He's an ex-lover.
I could see his hand shaking. His voice was trembling a little bit when he was trying to light his cigarette. Had problems. I thought he was going to burn up the interior of my car. It definitely put me at ease to see how nervous he was, and I felt more in control of the situation.
Detective Harn is in control of the situation as Parkinson makes all the right, or should we say wrong, moves.
Well, basically, I need to make sure it doesn't come off onto me.
Parkinson has a plan.
Well, and this is something, because this happens in the gay world, this hate crime type deal.
No, explain it to me.
But, basically, the real, if it was real, what would happen is I'd go out and I'd pick some guy up and we'd go off to some cheap hotel and he'd murder me, and take my wallet or whatever and go. Or take my money and go. And make it look like sex.
When he gave me the potential victim's name, address, phone number, his habits, a photo of him, and half the money up front. I mean, it was very obvious he was willing to cross the line between fantasy and reality.
I tell you what, I'd rather we didn't meet again. Can we do a drop somehow, or the rest of the money, or what? I've got half with me. I brought half with me.
Yeah, we could do that.
But before he makes a final payment, Parkinson will want proof of his ex-lover's death.
What do you want as proof? You want me to take a Polaroid photo afterwards, or what?
Yeah, if you could. If you could do that, take a Polaroid.
After the meeting, the potential victim is spirited away to a safe location.
So it actually made it fairly easy for us to go there with a Polaroid camera, have him lay on a bed with a belt around his neck, appearing to have been strangled.
In fact, those who try to hire a hitman often ask for a picture of the corpse as a form of proof that their target is dead. And the police departments have learned how to accommodate them. Amy Zeeland and Peyton Hobbs are sergeants in the United States Air Force. They specialize in creating fake wounds for the Air Force's disaster training unit and are often called in when the Colorado Bureau of Investigation needs to fake a death.
Well, the first thing we would do is to find out what the end result is, find out what kind of scenario they're trying to create.
Using special makeup, the officers get to work on our volunteer.
We want to create a hole, that kind of a illusion that there's a hole there. And this stuff you can just peel, it's like putty. So we'd start by blending the wax, wherever we wanted to do this. There's two different kinds of blood that we have. This is a gel form, you can see it, it won't come out. And this is stuff where if you're going to be filming for a long time or you want to have a very specific part of the wound that needs to stay in place, you can use this and you can stretch it and shape it, make it look like a drip. You can do all kinds of things with it.
After creating a simple gunshot wound, the officers make it look like our victim has been roughed up a bit. After about 30 minutes, our victim is ready for his close-up. A similar fake death photograph was created for California Dr. Gary Parkinson, who asked for proof of his target's demise. One day after hiring undercover detective Scott Harn, Parkinson and his boyfriend meet with their hitman to exchange the final snapshot for a final payment.
I handed him a plastic or a paper bag with the photo inside, and the gentleman opened the bag, took a glance at the photo, didn't really make any comment, and closed up the bag.
Parkinson is arrested on the spot and is eventually convicted and sentenced to 25 years to life. But you might be surprised to know that in some murder-for-hire cases, prison sentences can be a lot more lenient. Case in point, Utah pharmacist J. Allen Roach. In 1999, embroiled in a bitter divorce and custody battle, Roach came to this motel to try to hire a hitman to kill his wife of 17 years, Lorraine. But the hitman he tried to hire was really Detective Skip Curtis of the Utah County Sheriff's Department.
Well, right now I'm to the point that I think the only way to solve it is an accident.
Okay, do you want her just hurt in the accident?
Dead.
Okay. You want it to look like an accident then?
It's got to look like an accident. If I have the cops or anybody coming at me, I'm sunk.
He was adamant about that. It has to look like an accident so no one will accuse him. And he didn't care what happened to me. He didn't care if I suffered. He didn't care what happened. Just so I was dead. The outcome of the accident was that I was dead.
Roach pays Curtis with prescription drugs he steals from his job.
It's 100.
It's 100?
Full bottle. It's got the seal on the top.
The ironic thing is he hands me the drugs and he says, you know, I could lose my job for this. I kept thinking, yeah, that and a lot more.
Once Detective Curtis has a down payment, his team moves in for the arrest. Roach pleads with the officers to kill him.
Please kill me! Just kill me! We're not gonna kill you. Just kill me! Quit. You gotta kill me! I can't go on! I can't! I can't go on! Just kill me! It's the end! It's the end! It's the end! Kill me!
Ironically, it isn't even close to the end for Roach. 7 months later, he is sentenced to only 1 year in the county jail. The judge cited Roach's exemplary record in the past and said credit is due for that.
What part of that year is for the drug charge and what part of that year is for the conspiracy to commit aggravated murder? I mean, is it 6 months for one and 6 months for the other? That's what really upsets me, is that there were 2 major charges there and it was almost like nothing happened to him.
J. Allen Roach has since served his time and is now a free man, a fact that infuriates the man who handled the case, Utah County Prosecutor John Allen.
I think in sentencing, there was failure in that sentencing. The message that is sent to other people that you can hire someone to kill your wife or your husband or your spouse, or whoever that may be, and only get a year in the county jail, in my opinion, is an inappropriate message.